Checking out this $14 soldering iron kit by Plusivo, I believe it's called. Not placebo. But here's the included wire, right? I stripped it with the included wire stripper. Just tinned it with the included solder. And thing is, this is like a fully functional soldering iron with a bunch of extras. And I just wanted to demo everything for you. So if you're looking to buy this unit, or you were just browsing Amazon and came across it, you'll find it's actually a decent deal. So there's my soldering joint. It's not pretty, but it worked. That's just material that I was soldering onto, which you probably don't want to do, but yeah, this is like $14 for all this stuff, and I just wanted to quickly go over what all this stuff is, what it does, and how the quality is. So first things first, I should probably snip that soldering joint. It does come with this tool, which is the first thing I want to touch up on, but real quick, I'll just snip this. Okay, this should be pretty fun. So this is the wire stripper comes with. Now, first of all, if you get this kit and you're like a little kid or you're just getting into this or something like that, this might deter you because this is a nightmare to work on. Go to a garage sale or like Harbor Freight and get a decent wire stripper. They're really cheap and they just make light work out of this stuff. And they come in a bunch of different styles. That one just happens to work for me. But you'll see something like this makes it really difficult. So here's the wire, right? When you were originally looking at it, you purchased it, it would look like this, right? It's just wire. So you would take it, insert it into this spot here on these grooves, depending on the size and gauge of your wire, of course. And then you just want to push down and pull that, and look, it actually works. It actually gets the bare wire out. So it's definitely not easy, but it works. And that's kind of like all this stuff. Like, it's not the top of the line stuff, but it gets the job done. And you'll find a lot of times in repairs and soldering, stuff like that, if it gets the job done, it doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be fully, super like easy to use and stuff like that. As long as it works, it's good. Hopefully you'll find this as fascinating as me. So first thing that stood out to me when I was looking for this kit, because I was looking for solder and it's like $10 on Amazon or something like that. And for that money, you can just get this entire set, and maybe that's worth it to you. This is like really low melting point solder. Like you'll see when this soldering iron that it comes with is set at to 350, like if I just touch, it's already, you know what I mean? Like, it's not shitty solder. This is like legit low melt. I don't really know what's in it. It's probably giving me some horrible disease as I'm breathing in the fumes. I do have a fan on, but once again, it works. So that's the solder out of the way. The heat shrink tubing is something that totally caught me by surprise. I mean, so here's what it looks like. It comes in a bunch of assorted sizes and diameters and things of that nature. But what's interesting is if I take this and I already did it. Like, if I try to rip it, like, that's me giving like a lot of force, Like, that's decent heat shrink tubing. I mean, I understand it's cheap to manufacture, and this is probably not even worth like $1 of heat shrink, but it's hard to get it for this price. Practically free when you look at all the other stuff. So the heat shrink definitely gets a pass as well. So already heat shrink and solder for $14. It's a little pricey, but it's cool. But we're not even halfway there. So looking at this bare wire, definitely nothing special here. It's just thin. This is like, your grandpa's old, like, weirdly sticky speaker wire or something like that. But this does look like new from a factory, and it doesn't feel shitty. I mean, it feels low quality, but it doesn't like have any weird grit to it or odor or something like that. And it just works. I mean, it's wire. You use this stuff all the time for patching. Like, I have abundance of this kind of stuff, like this old school that I just had lying around. It's the same thing, it's just copper wire on the inside and it's shielded on the outside, and it takes to solder really well. So, you will use a significant amount of wire. So it's cool that they included this for free. To get a sense of how long it is, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet. There you go. That's like a decent amount of wire for free. And you get it times 2. So that's like, what did I say? 6? That's like 12 feet of wire for $14. And once again, not even halfway done. The PCB, you can't really do much with this besides testing your solder skills, but honestly, that's something really important to do. And it also comes with this free book. This is the PDF book that you get when you register your code here, claim code. Check it out. You would think that this is just some like generic, you know, like thanks for buying our product type of thing. But then you realize it's 45 pages of real applicable information. It shows you about like untrimmed leads, solder bridges. There was like some common parts that are used in soldering. There's like a whole safety part. Look at this. It tells you all about like some basic electrical engineering sort of tutorials of how to do basic soldering techniques, resistant ranges for certain common, common electronics. It's also, interestingly enough, offered in 3 different languages, so that's pretty cool. And you get all 3. Yeah, like this is like a serious, intro/intermediate book that you get for absolutely free. I don't even know if you have to give them a valid email, as long as you just follow the instructions here, which simply say to go to the download and then enter your claim code. There's also a customer support number, which was interesting to see. So I think this is just, all in all, this thing is just like keeps getting better, keeps getting funnier for me. Like, it's just a really decent value for $14. So they probably utilize this PCB when you're using this book, and that's like a decent deal. I didn't even know what was coming with this. So PCB and a free book. I'll put that there. So what else? Of course, the wire stripper. I would say this thing is completely useless. It does get the job done, and if you were just buying this kit as like an emergency soldering kit, something like that, this would totally work. It would totally get the job done, but I would definitely not put a high price tag on this. Next, your wick. I mean, hey, it doesn't come with a lot of it, but let's see how much it comes with. 1.5 meters. I'm not too sure what that is in feet or inches, but soldering wick is soldering wick. Especially if you're not using it a lot. Like, I barely use this stuff, and so this will probably last like a lifetime. You can see how much is in there. Quite a lot. And it comes out right out the top like this. Decent. $14. Not even done. What else? Solder sucker. This looks like it was made in 30 minutes. But you know what? It totally works, because if I go push in, it totally locks in. There's nothing like rattling. I'll take my thumb here and I'll push this black button. You'll see. Did you see that it actually pulled skin? See? Once again, I'll try it again. It's kind of hard to. That works. That's a soldering sucker that totally works. And once again, it's one of those things that is now included in the price. So we're getting down to the wire here. No pun intended. These are the tweezers that it came with. It came with a straight. That actually, let me look at that. That's like decent tweezers. I mean, I have one from like an iFixit kit. This is almost on par. I mean, there's a little bit of unevenness. It bars left a little bit, but I mean, seriously, that's for just picking something up, like picking something up sensitive. Like, you don't want to, mess something up, or you drop something, a weird wire like that. I mean, these are totally functional. Here's the angled tweezers. Once again, and this one's actually pretty straight, if I'm being honest. It totally operates as a thin pair of tweezers. This is something that's like, it's easy to mess up, but once you get it to a certain level, they're fine. Like, these tweezers will literally probably last you forever if you don't beat them up. They're constructed well. I'm sure you could tear them apart. If you do tear this apart, well, you got solder and you can put it back together. Decent tweezers here. So the part that probably everyone is buying this for is the soldering iron, and we're not even there yet. It comes with, well, I actually have the soldering iron on. I forgot to unplug it. I'll unplug it now. I'll put it on this little janky stand. Here's the soldering iron stand. This alone is like
at least on Amazon. I mean, they take all these like products from like Alibaba and AliExpress, and then they upcharge them a lot. Like this is probably like $1 or $2 on AliExpress, but if you find it on Amazon, it's probably going to be like $8 because the person selling it has to make profit. But something like this in a kit, they can really sell this really cheap. I mean, all it is a piece of like sheet metal, and then these are like key rings adhered in some way to, I can't really even see points that it's adhered to, but it is, it's solidly on there, and a little L piece of metal with some nut and bolt, and there you go. That's a perfectly suitable soldering iron holder. It works. I have another cheap one, but it works totally fine. It's not gonna really fall out. You can put it at like multiple points, and yeah, we're not even done yet. With the soldering iron holder comes a little depressing sponge, but I mean, look how thin it is. But seriously, it's one of those things that, again, is totally functional. Just make sure it's moist or wet. It actually comes with instructions on how to assemble it. And it does instruct you to make sure the sponge should be soaked before using. So that's actually really cool. I can see someone just totally, like a newbie or something, just, not understanding why the sponge would have to be wet. But at least if they do it, they're doing it right. And, I seriously, can find this on Amazon, just this, for like $8, and it comes with this kit for 15. It's an awesome deal. I guess we should talk about the soldering iron. It's 110 volt, 60 watt, Plusivo brand. It's got this temperature actuator, which I don't really know if it works, to be completely honest with you. It goes from 200 Celsius to 450. It really looks like a cheap soldering iron. But I mean, once again, it's just, you saw me use it in the beginning. I've used it a couple times. I bought this like 30 minutes ago, and I've just been messing around with it. I wanted to open it up and show you how you would change this out, but unfortunately I have been running this, so it might be a little warm. Here's the heating element on the inside. And I'm not really sure what that is. If anyone knows, let me know. It might be like ceramic, something like that. Pretty sweet. And the way that it works, here's the mechanism, and the tip comes out. There's a soldering tip, and look how many it comes with. 5 tips in this like decent quality bag, and an extra one. That's 6 tips, and they actually vary in length and width and shape and stuff like that, which is pretty sweet. I can't believe this is a 12-minute video. And you just screw everything back into the soldering iron, and yeah, I mean, the whole thing was $14. It works. It comes with all these actual helpful additives and extras. It's a decent bag. Definitely like a fake leather, but it's got the placebo warning on there, or label on there. And yeah, that's about it. Well, I guess it has these tweezer covers. I mean, you really have to count everything that you buy with this thing, because it's $14. Everything they include is like, oh wow, they included that too. And this soldering iron tip cover, which probably is just something for transportation. I couldn't imagine never using something like that, but the idea is once everything is assembled in the soldering iron, you could put the tip on there to protect it. Probably don't want to use it because it's plastic, but whatever works. Did I mention it came with this for this? It's adorable, and it actually worked, and I fully assembled this, and it's on there, Anyway, thought I'd make a quick video about this. Well, relatively quick. If you guys have any questions about this soldering iron, please let me know. It's an awesome piece. It's $14, which I kept saying, but I can't believe. And yeah, so if you're looking to buy just solder, consider a kit like this. I mean, even if you're not going to use half this stuff, you can definitely use the stand. You can certainly use the heat shrink tubing. The other stuff, maybe just give to someone who's learning how to solder or something like that, or take it apart, see how a soldering iron works. I know it's not that interesting, but it's something to do. This soldering kit, totally recommend. I was obviously not paid or anything. I have like 10 subscribers. There's no one sending me shit, but if you guys like this video, let me know, and have a good day. Thank you.